Plato, the Republic. Book 1. Conventional view of justice developed. Socrates engages in a discussion with Polemarchus, who inherits his definition of justice from the poet Simonides. Polemarchus argues that justice means giving each what is owed, a conventional view that suggests one should benefit friends and harm enemies. Socrates, however, challenges this definition by questioning whether harming anyone can ever be just. Polemarchus' definition of justice based on Simonides. Polemarchus, inheriting the definition from Simonides, a revered poet, claims justice is giving to each what is owed. Socrates probes further, asking what this means in practical terms. Polemarchus clarifies justice means benefiting one's friends and harming one's enemies. This reflects the conventional Greek moral view. One should help those close to them and retaliate against those who wrong them. Socrates' first critique the role of justice. Socrates begins by comparing justice to various crafts, technique. He asks, in what way does justice function like a skill? Does justice benefit friends in the way medicine benefits health or navigation benefits sailors? Polemarchus struggles to pinpoint a specific role for justice. Socrates presses further. When is justice most useful? Polemarchus suggests it is in wartime and financial dealings. Socrates counters. In these cases, wouldn't military expertise or financial knowledge be more relevant? By this stage, Polemarchus has already started questioning the practical utility of his definition. The problem of mistaken friends and enemies. Socrates next forces Polemarchus to reconsider his criteria for friendship and enmity. Are friends always good and enemies always bad? What if one misjudges a person, thinking them a friend when they are actually bad, or an enemy when they are actually good? Since people often misjudge character, the principle of helping friends and harming enemies risks being unjust. Someone following this rule might end up harming the good and helping the wicked. Polemarchus concedes that one must distinguish between true friends and true enemies, rather than simply following personal relationships. But this makes justice harder to define. The absurdity of harming enemies. Socrates then introduces his most important argument against the idea that justice involves harming enemies. He asks, does harming a person makes them better or worse? Polemarchus agrees that harming someone worsens their character. But if justice is a virtue that should improve people, how can it involve making anyone worse? A just person should not actively harm others, even if they are enemies. Socrates likens this to training animals. A good horse, a good horse trainer improves a horse, not makes it a worse. A just person, therefore, should improve people, not degrade them. Since justice cannot involve harming others, Polemarchus' definition collapses. Polemarchus' concession. By the end of the discussion, Polemarchus is forced to abandon his original stance. Socrates has demonstrated that definition of justice as helping friends and harming enemies is flawed because we often misjudge who our true friends and enemies are. Justice, if it is a virtue, cannot involve harming anyone, since harming makes people worse, not better. Polemarchus concedes that justice must be something other than simply helping allies and harming foes. This clears the way for the deeper inquiry into justice that contains in the Republic. Why this dialogue matters. This conversation is significant because it dismantles the conventional Greek understanding of justice as a reciprocity and retribution. Socrates forces Polemarchus to think beyond simplistic moral rules and consider justice as a principle that aims at the good of all rather than vengeance or favoritism. This sets the stage for the larger philosophical debate in the Republic, where justice is redefined as a fundamental harmony in both soul and the city. To be continued. Thanks.